You thought the COVID virus was dangerous? Well, not that it's not, but how about I tell you about a virus that's even more dangerous? The scratch your neck, itch your throat kind of dangerous. Perhaps virus isn't the best way to define it, because while the more modern people may refer to it as a virus, the good old villagers believe it to be a curse. So, without further wait, let's see the medication for this so-called curse of the virus. Symptoms. Going with a full medical approach, let's see what are the symptoms you're gonna see when you have the Hinamizawa curse. You won't have trouble breathing, or your lungs won't decay into ashes, but you are going to wish that happened when your neck starts to bleed and worms start to crawl through your throat. The symptoms go into several stages. Stage 1. The very first stage doesn't show any physical symptoms, but you'll get affected by a lot of mental issues like social anxiety and fear. You will feel deeply insecure about your surroundings and will have issues trusting even your closest companions. And that's just the first stage. Stage 2. Stage 2 takes things a bit further. The anxiety you felt is slowly going to transform into paranoia, and this will also be accompanied by violent delusions. These delusions could be something simple, like some eerie girl staring through the door, or your best friend coming home to give you a box of lunch and then acting all creepy and weird, to more serious ones like your closest friends trying to kill you or trying to inject you with poison. Stage 3. And stage 3. Well, this is where you're naturally going to start to take action, just like Keiichi did. After Keiichi started to realize his friends were plotting against him, he always kept his baseball bat in hand and resorted to any violent acts to keep them away. And in most cases, stage 3 ends with serial killings or even suicide. In Keiichi's case, he violently beat down Lena and Mion, thinking they were trying to inject him with poison. In the case of Shion, she brutally killed Satoko, thinking she was the reason her brother left them. Stage 4. The final stage is where the real demon appears, at least metaphorically. Your neck starts to itch, blood spurts out, and no matter how desperately you claw your neck, the itch doesn't subside. You fall down where you stand and die choking on your own blood. And if these 4 stages give you a basic idea about how this isn't the world's prettiest virus, then it's also time to see the remedies and cures for it. The cure for the curse. As mentioned before, we can look at the curse from 2 perspectives. One is from the science side of things. Here is where you will know that it's a virus that's rapidly spreading from one person to another. There are no notes about its origin or who the first victims were. But if you have the proper medication, it can be cured. With science, the only issue is to find the right vaccine to combat the virus, and it would all be okay. Or would it? This is where we should take a look at the conservative approach at the villagers in Hinamizawa. They label this virus as the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama is a deity they used to believe in, and when the villagers disrespect his presence or try to leave the village, they believe bad things happen to them. But later in the series, it was revealed that Oyashiro-sama is in truth the deity and Rika's guardian angel called Hanyu. Hanyu doesn't look like a violent deity at all, which makes us think about the virus in terms of science. But with the new developments in the Higurashi Go series and the appearance of Yua makes us think that the virus has some supernatural aspects as well. For example, there is also a certain belief that this curse would affect anyone who leaves the village. And I'm not just talking about Satoko being jealous of Rena. Now that we've taken a look at the 2 approaches to analyzing the curse, let's see how to combat it. And trust me, using a vaccine is the last thing you should do. Distance yourself. This may seem like the most socially distant advice you'll ever hear, but we're speaking about paramedics. The best way to reduce the effect is by distancing yourself from crowded places. But first of all, how do you know you have the Hinamizawa virus? If you have the symptoms I mentioned before, such as fear and social anxiety, or the feeling that anyone will stab you in the back, then it's best to either meet a doctor or isolate yourself when it proceeds on to the later stages. The most important factor in the first 2 stages of the virus is human contact. As long as you have anyone you know beside you, the virus is going to corrupt your brain and think they are about to kill you. The more you distance yourself, the better you'll feel. Without anyone to interact with, your brain triggers less and less of red alerts. And after a while, it will all calm down. So the next time you get fear or paranoia, the best thing to do will be to shut your room and stay inside, because it's either a hospital bed or a prison cell if you don't. The power of friendship. Okay, I know this is a fancy term, and one of the reasons why the original Higurashi ending was labeled as a Scooby-Doo ending. But here, by the power of friendship, I don't necessarily mean getting the gang back and facing the challenge together. It's more about trust. One of the biggest issues with the Hinamizawa curse is how it reduces your trust by giving you an exaggerated sense of fear. It uses your anxiety to fuel up this fear, manipulates your brain, and makes you think that even the very closest ones to you would stab you in the back. So how do we combat this? Well, mind games should be fought with the mind. In Higurashi no Koro ni Kai, it was shown again and again how trust can reduce the effects of the curse. It is also repeated in the Go series, and when Rena brings Keiichi a lunchbox, he readily opens the door for her thinking she meant no harm, because he trusted her. Though what happened after was completely Rena's fault. And even when everything was falling down, Rika didn't stop trusting her friend, which made her stop the curse together with Hanyu. Even though this is very much the average shonen Scooby-Doo phenomenon, friendship in Higurashi is the only thing that can combat the virus, because with friendship comes trust, and with trust comes the denial of your delusions. How to avoid anyone who has the curse. Simply getting through the Hinamizawa curse isn't enough, because it all goes to waste if your best friend starts hacking you with a knife. When speaking of beating the curse, it is also better to know how to avoid anyone who has the curse. So, it is important to keep an eye out for your friends. Are they acting suspicious? Do they prevent any eye contact? And most of all, did your best friend suddenly start loving sharp objects? Then, it's best to increase your distance. Unfortunately, no permanent cure has actually been established for the Hinamizawa curse. And let's admit it, the villagers did a lot of exaggerating as well. The mysterious murders of the curse turned out to be actual planned murders. The demons who attacked the village a few years ago turned out to just be a myth. But the curse is real, and we say it because there are multiple people who have experienced it. And we don't know about Yua's or Featherine's role in any of these events, so it's best to wait until the new season arrives next season. So, did you catch any important information about the Hinamizawa curse? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get updated as soon as we release a new video. Stay safe, anime fans, and I'll see you in the next video.